Wavelink 3.0 came out recently with the new beta, which is obviously the upgrade of the old. And if you do have the beta, it can be quite confusing to actually set it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through from the very beginning how you'd actually set it up, where you can get the beta from, as well as what everything means on the beta itself. So first of all, before you actually get the beta like this, you will have to download it, which if you go to Elgato and you go to their beta software, you can get it here and you just install it on whatever system it is that you're using. Now, do bear in mind as well that you will have to delete the old Wavelink. So just make sure you save your settings to a file in case it doesn't work, just so you have that backup there. So once you've actually got it, this is what it will look like when it's done. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and just break down what everything is. So the first thing you'll actually do is connect your microphone. Now, you do have to have a Wave product if you're using a mic that isn't by Elgato. So obviously here I'm using the Shure SM7DB and I have a Stream Deck Plus. You can also use the Wavelink, I believe it's called. And then once you actually plug this in, whichever, device you're using will come up here. Or if you do have the Wave microphone, that will come straight up. And obviously here you have, your basic controls. And if you do have a mic like this, you are going to want to, use the 48-volt phantom power, just like you would in any other audio interface. Gain lock, clip guard, completely up to you. Clip guard, I do turn on myself because I stream. So when I shout, I don't want it to, go above a certain volume and start clipping. So once you've actually got that set up, you'll come into mixers. Now this will look completely different and you'll have nothing here. So what you've got at the top here, which you can have up to 5 at the moment, is your actual outputs. So I've got my personal mix, I have my Discord mix, which is what people hear if I'm in a Discord call. TikTok mix because I do stream on TikTok, OBS and Twitch. So this is what I'm recording on currently, and is also my Twitch mix for if I, have a VOD. And then game chat is, if I'm in games like Arc Raiders or anything else that uses game chat. So those are what the top ones are. Now on the left are your categories. So what actually goes into the source. So straight away you'll have your microphone. And if you come in here, you can change all your microphone settings and you can add effects. Now these effects, some of these aren't native to Elgato. So the only two that I actually have on here from Elgato are Voice Focus, which I don't use, and the Elgato EQ, which if you want to know how to do this, there's a couple of videos online. I know Senpai has quite a good video on how to use and actually, do your own EQ. Now, these other two are plugins as well, and I believe they're actually on the video of how to set up a microphone, and the one he uses on the video is the Shure SM7DB. So you can get those there and then get them plugged into this. So that's completely up to you if you want to do that. Now, the next one's down, you can only add a limited amount of channels. So what you're going to want to do on this, which you didn't have to do on the previous version, is actually group these together. So for example, if I click on music, which is one that you'd add at the bottom, so you just press create channel, and it's literally this simple, or add an empty channel, which is what I've done here for all mine because mine are grouped together. But if you have a specific program you want to add on its own, like a game perhaps, or, OBS Studio or whatever it is, you can do it that way. So these are the ones that I'd recommend. So music, game, browser, sound effects, Discord, excuse me, Discord, and anything else that you want to use. So in music, what you will have to do to actually add something. So if I get rid of Spotify, for example, you can just type it in, but the better way to do it, and it will come up to the top, is if you go onto Spotify and actually start playing a song, then click on music and add, it will come to the top. So here I've got media player on Spotify. It says unavailable, but if I open media player, this unavailable will go. It's only because I actually have Spotify open at the minute on another screen that it's coming up there. So for that, you just add those ones. For game, unfortunately, at the minute, you do have to add every game individually. So you'll have to run the game and then you'll have to come into here and you'll add the app, or you can search it up. But you do have to do it individually. Unfortunately, there's no, set way yet where you can add, all your games at once. So it does take a little bit of time, but every time you boot up a new game, it takes 2 seconds just to add it, especially if you have the software open in the background. Next one down is browser. So here again, just add your browsers, and I just added a couple of the things that I use. So Tickfinity and Lark as well, because those are things that I use. Sound effects. This is where you'd have voice mod, or you can have Tickfinity as well, but I just didn't want them in the same thing. As well as that, if you actually have sounds on a Stream Deck, if you want them to play, you will actually have to go to the Stream Deck itself. You'll have to click on the sound. And then if you scroll down here, you can see the output. You will have to select sound effects or it won't play. So make sure you do that. You do have to do it for every single one, but you can just copy and paste these and then put the new file in, which makes it quite a lot quicker. But that's how you do that. Next one down is Discord. Again, you'd have to open Discord, have it running, and then add the actual app itself. And then anything else you want to add as a channel is there. Now, throughout these sections here is what you'll hear through the output. So personal mix, obviously I have my mic muted because I don't want to hear my own microphone while I'm talking. And for personal mix, I want to hear all of this, sorry. And this is where you change the volume individually for that specific mix. Whereas over here is where you change, overall. So this changes all the channels and it changes the max volume for that specific channel. So obviously in Discord, I don't want people to hear the game I'm playing. And if I'm on the internet and I'm watching like a YouTube video, I might not want them to hear that either. If you do, you literally just unclick mute or click it again. Now, what's nice about these as well is when you actually slide this down, you can see that there's a slider that shows you the actual volume that it goes up to. And obviously this goes just under halfway because over here it's turned down. So if I turn this all the way up, you can see there that it fills the actual bar. Now, TikTok mix, there's no copyright music, so you can get away with playing everything here. And I do want my sound effects and my Tickfinity to play through on TikTok because those are triggered by gifts on TikTok. Whereas OBS and Twitch, I'm not going to want music on there because I don't want to be get a copyright strike whether I'm filming a YouTube video or I'm actually live on Twitch. However, I want them to hear the game. I will want them to hear browsers, especially if I'm looking at a YouTube video or if I'm watching something along with viewers. I want them to hear the sound effects if I have, things connected through StreamerBot or connected to, certain Twitch controls. And I'll also want them to hear the Discord. But again, the good thing about this is if I want to hear the Discord volume very loud, I can do this, but then I can mute it if I want for the actual live, which is, I know quite a lot of people do. And then again, for game chat, I'm not going to want them to hear everything, just my microphone, my sound effects for when I'm using the soundboard. And maybe Discord audio, but I'll actually turn that off because I don't really need that one on there. Same with TikTok Studio, like I'm not going to want sounds that are playing on TikTok on here. And the same with the browser and game, like, if I'm like dead in Ark Raiders and my team hasn't, exfilled yet, I might be watching a YouTube video or something, and I'm not going to want people that are in the game chat to be able to hear that. So that is pretty much it for this. The only other thing is your actual output. So this will be your headphones or whatever it is that you actually use, and you'll have all your things here. And then once you've done that, you're pretty much good to go. So it can be a little bit finicky when you first get the software, and there are kind of, like workarounds and things that you have to do. But as soon as you get the gist of it, you're kind of fine with it. So if anyone does have any questions about anything that I've gone over, I've kind of tried to make this as quickly as I can. Just drop them in the comments below. Subscribe if you can. That'd be massively appreciated. And I'm going to try and roll out more of these videos on software as well, because quite a lot of people have questions about things like this. And I know that not everyone has tried Wavelink 3.0, and the people that have might find it, a little bit confusing, which, when I first got it, it was quite confusing. But I hope this video helped. If you have any questions, put them down below. If I don't know the answer, I'll try and find it myself. But if I do, I'll make sure to comment it there as well. Thanks for watching, and I hope this helped.